Let's jump into hammer maintenance. These basics keep your equipment sharp and avoid costly downtime.
Okay, Rick, so tell me some things that we want to be mindful of while we're running the hammer and things we want to be checking on throughout the day.
Okay, Riley, one of the biggest things you got to watch for with a vibratory hammer is heat.
Okay.
Okay? And if you're running the power pack at full speed,
Sure.
and you have the hammer on a pile and it's taking more than 20 minutes to drive, you got to stop and give it a break.
Okay.
Okay, or you're going to overheat it. And what's overheated? Well, we have a heat gun here, and we're going to be looking for, we're going to measure the temperature around the bearings like this. So I'm looking for hot spots.
Okay.
Right? So if I have one spot that's a lot hotter than the rest, that tells me that there's maybe something going on in a bearing.
Sure.
And to shut it off.
Okay.
We don't want to go above 212 degrees.
Okay.
Okay?
So with the heat gun, looking around, if we find any hot spots that are over 212, you need to shut it down right away.
If anything's
Okay.
over 212, you shut it down. But if
Okay.
even if everything's like, say it's 110, but one spot up here is 180,
Gotcha.
that's not good.
I got you. Okay.
Okay? Now,
And so you were saying that if we run it at full speed, we might get 20 minutes, but
if we reduce the speed, like if we take it down to, on this particular unit, if we take it down to around 1,350 RPMs on the engine,
Okay.
we could run this thing all day and it would
Okay.
never get above 170. And the other thing that's real important is the gear oil.
Mhm.
Now, on all of our hammers, well, most of our hammers, the level of the gear oil is in the sight glass is halfway up.
okay.
Okay. Now, sometimes if you have a unit that's a couple years old and maybe this class isn't very clear, you want to be able to see that oil level.
Sure.
So if it's all black and you can't tell where the oil level is, you need to lay the hammer on its side or lean it back so the oil, when you take this plug out, the oil doesn't come out.
Sure.
And then what you're going to do is there's a sight glass right there.
Good.
And you're going to take the brake cleaner and go inside with the straw and just kind of spray it out till it's nice and clean. Yep. So that's the main thing.
Okay.
And then you also want to be changing the oil, you know, about every 100 hours of vibro time.
Okay.
Okay.
And is that similar, like when you're changing the oil of your car, it might come out dirty, there could be sludge and stuff in there?
There could be.
Is there a way to like clean that, or is there something we can do?
If you feel like the oil coming out is really dirty,
Okay.
you want to flush it.
Okay.
So what you're going to do is drain as much oil as you can out
Mhm.
and then put the plug back in.
Okay.
And then instead of adding more oil, add 2 gallons, 3 gallons of diesel fuel.
Okay.
Turn the engine, the power pack on, run it at idle.
Okay.
And you're just gonna bump the vibro for 5 seconds, maybe 7 seconds, just to kind of slosh that diesel around the bearings
Agitate
and
it
gears
around.
and get all the slop out of it. And then when you drain it, you just keep doing it like rinse and repeat, right?
Okay.
Until the diesel comes out clean.
Okay. And then once that's all done,
Once it's done, then you put the plug back in it and fill it up to oil right to the halfway up the sight glass, and you're good to go. Now, from here, we also want to be able to mark these bolts with the pen.
okay, I believe I got one.
Here's a good one to do. You can see it real easy.
Okay. So like you said before, we marked the bolt
Yep,
and the washer
yep,
and then the hammer itself.
yep. Just like that.
Okay.
Now,
That
moving-
enables us that when we're checking the bolts, we can see if
get a
it's
visual.
moved over or not,
Yeah.
just by a
Yep.
quick glance. Okay.
Yep, yep. Because it takes a lot of time
Sure.
to go with all these bolts and make sure they're tight. But if
Right.
you do that,
So
you're good to go.
Yeah.
Now we'll move up to the suppressor.
Okay.
So the suppressor is isolating the vibration to the crane, okay? And it's utilizing these elastomers. And
Okay.
right now they're stretched a little bit to show you how they stretch, okay? So these things can over time crack and they can fail.
Okay.
So you'll need to replace those from
Gotcha.
time to time. And you need to inspect that.
Okay.
If you had a problem and all the elastomers broke or you over pulled, there's safety stops, one on each side, that'll catch and you can't pull the hammer apart.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Is there anything that we're checking for other than just cracks? Like these, will they leak at all, or
No,
nothing inside?
it's a vulcanized piece of rubber on 2 steel plates.
Got you. Okay.
So there's nothing to leak.
Okay.
If something was leaking out of it, that'd probably
That's
be
a
bad.
problem, yeah.
And we got some internal hoses here that connect from the terminal manifold, the hose bundle to the terminal manifold, and then down through, and then all of the oil that's supplied to both hydraulic motors and both sides where the clamp lines are,
Okay.
one on each side for a caisson clamp, so you'd have 2 clamp
Sure.
lines, are fed through a rifle board plate.
Okay.
So there's no more hoses.
Okay.
From here down, there's no more hoses. It's all
right.
through the rifle bore plate.
I assume that helps with wear and tear on
does.
hoses with all the vibrations and
It
whatnot.
does.
So Rick, you mentioned that we might have to change the oil in here and clean it out. Is there a place where we, the drain and the fill for that?
Yes, right over here.
Okay.
On each side of the hammer, there's a fill on the top.
Okay.
There's one on the other side. And then underneath, there's a plug,
Yeah.
one on each side. And that plug has a magnet. So if there's any kind of metal from the bearing or the gears, but mostly bearings, it's going to stick to that magnet.
Okay.
So when you drop the oil and pull the plug, if you have metal filings on that magnet, you need to do a better inspection. Pull the bearing covers off, you're going to be looking for a problem.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it's in its own little hole down here. It
It's
blends
tucked
in
away.
pretty well, but
It's tucked away, but it's there.
It's there, yeah.
And there's one on each side.
Okay.
So in addition to heat being the main problem,
Sure.
another problem is overdriving a pile.
Okay.
Or practical refusal. And that means that you're vibrating a pile, and it's only going in an inch, a minute.
Okay.
And that's really not moving much.
I got you. That's slow.
And if you get to that point and run it for more than 5-10 minutes, you're going to break the hammer.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. And if it gets to that point, you might need to consider a bigger vibro,
Okay.
adding bias weights to it,
Okay.
or another option,
I
like
gotcha.
an impact hammer.
Okay. So are there any limitations on what you can run it in on, like a batter or something like that?
Well, you can run a vibratory hammer on a batter, but you need to call your ICE representative because there's a lot more to just run it on a batter. There's a lot you need to know.
Okay, so you need to contact the
You need to
professionals.
contact us.
Yep, all right.
That's right.
Routine checks mean reliable performance. A few minutes spent now means peak performance on every job.